General Myers.
Mr. Chairman and Senator Levin, I would like to express my deep regret at being here under these circumstances. The incidents of prisoner abuse that occurred at Abu Ghraib prison are absolutely appalling. The actions of those involved are unconscionable and absolutely unacceptable. Since Brigadier General Kimmett's public announcement of the allegations back in January, the commander's response to the problems highlighted in these investigations has been timely and thorough. And just as a backdrop, we must also realize that our commanders had been handling some enormous challenges in Iraq, including the fighting that had intensified in Fallujah and on Najaf, the temporary plus-up of troops, which is a decision that was pending, and the departure of the Spanish brigade, all at the same time that they're dealing with some of these reports. And despite these extraordinary events, our commanders did exactly the right thing in a timely manner. The American public and the citizens of Iraq. I've been receiving regular updates since the situation developed in January and have been involved in corrective actions and personally recommended specific steps. Again, I'm confident that the commanders are doing the right things. One of the military's greatest strengths comes from the fact that we hold our servicemen and women accountable for their actions. Our military justice system works very well. I took an oath to support the Constitution, and with that comes the responsibility to ensure that all military members enjoy the full protections of our Constitution, to include the due process of a fair judicial system. After all, it's respect for the rule of law that we're trying to teach and instill in places like Afghanistan and Iraq. So as the Secretary said, we are now in the middle of a judicial process regarding detainee abuse. And because of my position, I have to be careful. I don't say anything that can be interpreted as direction or pressure for a certain outcome. In any of these cases. Moreover, we have to understand that a fair judicial system takes time to work. I know you all understand that. So no one is stalling or covering up information, but it's absolutely essential to protect the integrity of our judicial system. I have complete confidence in our military justice system. The accused will receive due process. Those found guilty will receive punishments based on their offenses. When I spoke to Dan Rather, with whom I already had a professional association concerning the 60 Minutes story, I did so after talking to General Abizaid, and I did so out of concern for the lives of our troops. The story about the abuse was already public, but we were concerned that broadcasting the actual pictures would further inflame the tense situation that existed then in Iraq and further endanger the lives of coalition soldiers and hostages. Again, it's useful to remember the context here. We were in the midst of some very heavy fighting in Fallujah and other places in Iraq. Some 90 hostages had been taken. It was a very delicate situation that we were trying to resolve. Since the story of the photographs was already public, I felt we were on good ground on asking him to hold off airing the actual photos. As we are now seeing, the photos are having a very real, very emotional worldwide impact. And I would identify myself with the Secretary's remarks on having seen more of them than I wish to have seen about the impact that it has on me. This situation is nothing less than tragic. The Iraqi people are trying to build a free and open society, and I regret they saw such a flagrant violation of the very principles that are the cornerstone of such a society. I'm also terribly so honorably in Iraq and Afghanistan and elsewhere would have their reputation tarnished and their accomplishments diminished by those few who don't uphold our military's values. I know our servicemen and women are all suffering unfairly with a collective sense of shame over what has happened. Their credibility will be restored day by day as they interact with the Iraqi people. And I'm confident that our dedicated servicemen and women will continue to prove worthy of the trust and respect of our nation and of the world. We continue to be very proud of them. As always, I thank you on their behalf for your steadfast support. Thank you.
General. Good statement, General. Secretary Brownlee, do you wish to you defer to General Smith?
Lance Smith, yes.
Thank you.
Senator Warner, Senator Levin.
This
members
is
of the committee.
Lieutenant General Lance Smith. He's
I
the
wish to
Deputy
start by
Commander of
thanking you
Central
for the
Command,
opportunity to
which is the
testify
command
before this
responsible
committee
for Iraq.
concerning the mistreatment of Iraqi detainees. The more than 250,000 soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines who have served in the CENTCOM area of responsibility over the past year have faced numerous challenges in prosecuting the global war on terror and Operations Iraqi Freedom and Enduring Freedom. Throughout these operations, they have worked to better the lives of the people of Afghanistan and Iraq, to bring progress and stability to these countries. Their efforts, however, have been put at risk by the reprehensible actions of a few. These few have acted in a manner that is inconsistent with the proud history of the American soldier. There is no excuse for their actions, nor do I offer one. Their unprofessional and malicious conduct has caused considerable harm to our attempts to win the trust and confidence of the Iraqi people. Unfortunately, it has also facilitated the efforts of our enemy to malign our national intent and character, and gives weight to the charge of American hypocrisy. When the allegations of abuse and improper conduct of U.S. forces against legally detained Iraqis were brought to light by a soldier on 13 January 2004, our leadership in Iraq prudently informed us of what they knew and immediately initiated a criminal investigation. That investigation has resulted in preferral of charges against 6 service members, 3 of which have thus far been referred to courts-martial, and we are still investigating further allegations of criminal misconduct. At the request of the CJTF-7 commander on 24 January, U.S. CENTCOM directed the conduct of a broader administrative investigation now known as the Taguba Report, with a mandate to make a comprehensive examination of our detainee operations in Iraq in order to detect any systemic problems